This project I'm gonna have to redo. I did do another video on it before. It was about a year or two ago, and this was all finished before, and I used some old 40-year-old concrete mix to put in there, and I think it just degraded over time or something, and it just was not that strong. It's very brittle, so I had to smash it out of there, and I'm gonna have to restart. But what I'm gonna do this time is I'm gonna prepare this rustic metal a little better, and I'm going to wire brush it, get it cleaned up as much as I can. The thing I love about rustic stuff is that it's cheap and you can't really go wrong with it. So it's a good way to practice and a good way to get better. But I love the idea of it, of just being, you can't really mess it up really. I mean, so I'm just thinking of creative ideas of how to just get it cleaned up, and then I'm gonna put a floor this sealer on there. This is a floor sealer I got at my university surplus, and this is 5 gallons of it for like 75 cents. So I'm going to utilize that for just sealing the outside of this, and then probably sealing the top of it so it has a water seal on over everything, so it'll be easy to clean up and everything. So those are the only two modifications I'm going to do: the seal and the brushing up with the rustic thing. Otherwise, it's the same project as I've done before, and I've kept this for that long because I loved how small it was, and it's actually portable. I could actually put it back into my house when I make the bathroom, or I can sell it to somebody, and it's easy to transport and everything. So I got it brushed down roughly, and the main part I was worried about is just that top counterpart, and then this other stuff I'm going to do some refining, do some more detail there. But I just wanted to get this ready for the cement. I'm going to spray that sealer on there first and let it dry so that it gets in all the cracks and everything, and then so when the cement is in there, I know that there's sealer. I don't know if you've ever seen one of these before. Got this from my step grandpa's house, and I've never seen it before, but I kind of figured out what it was. You could pretty much put any liquid that you want in there, got a dust cropper, crop dusting plane went by. But if you put any kind of liquid in there, whatever you want, and then you put just the end of the, and you shot back right into there and just set it so it blows out the front, and you could adjust the flow up here. This is brilliant. This worked fantastic for this thing because my spray bottle broke, and this is reusable. I've never really seen that before, other than these garden sprayers that you use with a hose with water, but this is the same thing except for just air. So if you ever find one of these, or it's well worth it, I think. You can see it getting pretty glossy. Turned out really good. So I'm going to do another coat. Alright, I'm satisfied with that. That is really cool. This gives me a lot of confidence. This actually kind of awakens a potential interest in me doing more of this. I really like this, doing this stuff, and just use my skills of welding and doing rustic stuff like this. Now that there's that sealant on there, I feel a ton better about that. That is so cool. That is very satisfying. So now is the countertop part. We'll see how that goes, but so I'm just going to repeat the process that I did last time. Just flipped it upside down on top of this. It's pretty much just a countertop, I don't know, shelving, but it has a smooth surface where when the concrete is dry, it'll just, it's like a non-stick, I don't know, vinyl on top of that. So it has there's a natural frame there set up already. I just need to kind of block it off where I want the sink to be, and these bars in here that I put in there, I welded these in there so that, and this in there, so that the concrete has something to hold on to, and then I have that mesh that I have that'll go inside to make it stronger. But this is pretty much it. I'm gonna put some seal, maybe some caulking around the edge so it doesn't seep out. This time I'm going to do something a little bit different that I did last time with the concrete. That was the first time. Last time I did this was the first time I was dealing with concrete, and I didn't really. I mixed a lot of water in it, and this time I want to make it thicker, or just kind of like just wet sand. I don't want it to be liquidy and just seeping all over, and it takes forever to dry, and you have to deal with air bubbles if it's too soupy. So this time I'm going to make it thicker, and kind of like when you're doing your own shower or own tiling work, and you're making the shower pan part of it, you have to make the concrete part of it really thick and just barely moist, so that you could form it, and there's less problems with air bubbles. Talking about, I think this is exactly what you need, is so it's moist enough, just so it's clumpy and moist, but not soupy. And you have to just add in water a little bit by little bit, and then mix it around, and be a little more careful about it, because once you get just too much water, it starts getting soupy, and so it's one of those things where you have to just be patient with it and mix it until it gets like this, whatever forms. So I put these little boards here to keep it from going into the sink area, but I didn't want to put caulking in there anyway this time, because it's kind of unpredictable of where it's going to go and how it's going to make it form, and how much, when it dries, how much are you going to get out of there. So some of the residues might stay in there, might look ugly, I don't know. I just didn't want to use caulking, but maybe some people do. So this is a little wire mesh I was talking about. I got a layer in there, and I'm just going to put this in between. And honestly, on a small project like this, I don't think this is necessary, but I'm going to just do it anyway. It just gives me practice learning all this stuff, and it'll reinforce it in case somebody really heavy sits on it. I don't know, but it's probably not necessary, but I'm just going to do it. And I'm going to try to jam pack all this stuff in there to the bottom. I'm kind of worried that it's not going to be flat on the bottom. This is the first time that I'm doing the concrete like this without it being like soupy runny, so I'm just gonna try to get it packed as much as I can. I might have to I might have to just spray a little bit of water on, like mist or something, just to make sure. I don't know. So I ended up putting a little bit more water in there. So it's a little more sticky. I just didn't feel good about it for some reason, but I needed it to settle down a little bit more. I think it was just a little too dry. Okay, so this is the day after. I'm going to do the great reveal right now. I think it's cured enough. It probably has some more time to cure, but I think there's enough. So that's a lot harder than it was the first time I did this already, so I already feel good about that. Alright, so the surface this time, it is smooth, but it's got these little pockets. And what I'm going to do is just mix up a little soupy mix and then resurface that and fill in those little. But it's pretty solid. There you go. Yep. There you go. Perfect fit. So all I'm doing right now is just kind of working a really soupy concrete mix into the surface of that, and you kind of see what it's doing. It's already filling in stuff, so not too difficult. You could probably filter a lot of this bigger stuff out, but I think it's just as good. If it's pretty runny, it's going to fall into where it needs to go. So I took some water and a rag. I just kind of smoothed it over after I slopped some concrete on there. And I could see the crevices are getting filled in, and of course it's never going to be perfect. Then once it dries, I'll put the sealant on there, but that's alright. So this thing has had time to cure pretty well, so I'm going to do the finishing touches on the top, just the sealant on the top, and maybe another coat all around, but that is it. This will be done. Put the sink in there. Should be ready.